Just thinking about this now, as we got 2 capsules left, and then we have the playoffs starting tomorrow. I'm kind of wondering if I'm going to flip flop between all 4 capsules in the West. I was pretty confident across all the ones in the East. I feel like we got all the winners, but in the West, I'm not so sure now that I keep looking at it. The Vancouver Canucks, as we head to the Pacific, 50, 23, and 9, 109 points and a plus 56. While taking on the Central Wildcard number 1, they've been locked in there for a little while. The Nashville Predators, 47, 30, and 5 with 99 points and a plus 21. Andrew Burnette is again across Rick Tocchet. And again, I probably have this flipped on that side as far as my notes, so we'll go ahead and take care of this in a moment. So let me pause. Okay, we should be good to go here. So Rick Tocchet versus Andrew Burnette. You don't want to get those backwards. Vancouver and Nashville. Breakout season for the Canucks versus Steamrolling late. And coaches in new places, expectations in a drag-out series. They left that as one bullet point because that's the way I see it. 81 games played for JT Miller. Again, he's another one of those that eclipsed over 100 points. 37, 66, 103, and a plus 32. Elias Pettersson played in 82 games, 34, 55, 89, plus 20. Brock Boeser, 81 games played. He had 40 goals as well. 40, 33 assists, 73 points, and a plus 23. And Conor Garland, who played in 82 games, he had 20 goals, 27 assists for 47 points, and a plus 19. So very outlandish point totals for the Vancouver Canucks, as you would expect. For Filip Forsberg, I put this in bold because I think it's very important. His breakout year, all 82 games played, a stud across the board. 48 goals, 46 assists, 94 points, and a plus 16. Gus Nyquist, former Red Wing. Blue Jacket, he's been mixing a little bit of everywhere. Minnesota Wild as well. 81 games played, 23, 52, 75, plus 7. And Ryan O'Reilly, it was interesting when the Brass and Barry Trotz signed him in the off-season, but he's bounced back quite well. You know, he had some struggles there with the St. Louis Blues for a moment after winning the Cup. No problem, though, for O'Reilly. He played in all 82, 26, 43, 69, and a plus 6. So those point totals bounce a little bit, but Filip Forsberg is one of those guys in Nashville that can absolutely be a franchise player, and he's shown you that. For anyone that likes to poke fun about the Nashville Predators here and there, about participation banners and this and that, again, you might joke around with that with some of my friends, but again, for Nashville, they're always in the postseason for the most part, and they usually can do damage. Premium defense. Quinn Hughes, and again, we just talked about Cale Makar in the previous capsule, but Quinn Hughes played 82 games, played 17 goals, 75 assists, 92 points, plus 38. Filip Hronek had himself one hell of a year. It seems like that Vancouver trade helped out both Detroit and the Canucks because Hronek goes one way. He's with the Canucks now, 543, 48, plus 33. There was a time where I thought Filip Hronek would only get assists and no goals. And then Roman Josi for the Preds, usual standout. 23 goals, 62 assists, 85 points, plus 12. And then Ryan McDonagh in 74 games, 3 goals, 29 assists, 32 points, and a plus 19. So, does styles make fights in this series? And what's interesting to watch here? Because a 15-0-2, yes, I said that correctly, points in 17 straight games for the Nashville Predators got them back into the playoffs. Vancouver is a team that about 28.5 shots for at 27th out of 32 doesn't average a ton of shots. When Vancouver gets the lead, it's a shell mentality and expectation that Thatcher Demko can take care of the rest. And why not? It's a good game plan because it's a franchise netminder. But the Predators are a pain in the you-know-what to play against, and they also have elite goaltending in the name of Juuse Saros. So is the shell mentality going to work? Especially when the Nashville Predators can outfight you across the ice. They can take that puck away and they can scratch and claw, get you some chances, and find a way to just placate themselves into the game. So we'll see how that one's going to go. This could be a knockdown, drag-out type of fight, and I think that's exactly what the Nashville Predators want. Weak specialty teams or want 5-on-5 play, question mark. Because for Vancouver, they're 11th on the man advantage at 22.7, and they're 17th on the penalty kill at 79.1, so about decent across the board. Nashville 16th on the power play, which is 21.6, and their penalty kill tied for Toronto at 23rd, 76.9. So that is where Vancouver can have the man advantage and take advantage of it. 76.9%, 23rd out of 32, tied with the Maple Leafs. That's not what I would expect with Nashville, considering some of the other players that they have on the defensive side in Josi and McDonagh. Goaltending in this series, Thatcher Demko for the Canucks, 51 games played, 35, 14, and 2. He made his start. Yes, he'll be back in net. The injury looks like it's subsided. 245 goals against, 918 save percentage, and 5 shutouts. Casey DeSmith in a backup role was excellent. He played 29 games, 12, 9, and 6, 289 goals against, 895 save percentage, and a shutout. The goals against and the save percentage don't really line up, but he was decent enough. And you see Saros, he does the bulk of the heavy lifting per usual. And at one point, when Nashville was falling out of the race before they went 15-0-2, they were going to think about trading Juuse Saros and using Askarov on the back of their net, but they stuck with Saros. It was probably a good decision. 35, 24, and 3, 286 goals against, 906 save percentage, 3 shutouts. And Kevin Lankinen, he was decent as well in a backup. 24 games played, 11 and 6 record with a 282 goals against, 908 save percentage, and a shutout for Lankinen. Who wins this series, and gives some reasons for both. Now, Alec and I have talked back and forth throughout this series. Again, he loves to give his picks. He had the New Jersey Devils winning the Stanley Cup Finals. They did not get there, but his pick to get to the finals on the other side of the bracket was the Dallas Stars. Again, we all missed some because Cooper Hopkins had Boston Bruins missing the playoffs last year, and I had the Ottawa Senators making the playoffs this year. So sometimes we fumble the bag big time, but then you bounce back because he goes ahead and Cooper picks Vancouver to get in, and then I go ahead and take Nashville. I think that's a pretty good reason to get back in, and you get some right and you get some wrong. So that's just the way it goes with some of these predictions. But for Vancouver, what a breakout year. Rick Tocchet, I can't imagine it was too easy moving on from Andrei Kuzmenko, but he's had a great impact with Ryan Huska, Craig Conroy, and the Calgary Flames. You make some of those moves, you get Elias Lindholm, you bring in Nikita Zadorov, and hit and miss a little bit for Lindholm, but it's still an insurance policy if they couldn't figure out what to do with Elias Pettersson, and they couldn't get the dollars signed, but it sounds like that's all going to be taken care of. But I think the right moves were made for Patrick Allvin, and you got to continue to do that. Against the Nashville Predators, and you got Barry Trotz now, I think that they've done an excellent job. That stretch was hot enough to get them in. And Nashville essentially has been playing playoff hockey for about, 2.5 months now? So Demko and Saros is probably one of the goaltending matchups that everybody's going to want to tune into. And for good reason. They're two of the best goaltenders in the entire world. I happen to think Juuse Saros' 64 games played probably overworked a bit. But that is what you have to usually do if you're Nashville. Thatcher Demko has turned into the goaltender that everybody thought he was going to be. And now, the Vancouver Canucks, you have elite defense in Quinn Hughes, and you have just fantastic goal scoring across the board. And look, we talked about the Canucks strategy of being able to go ahead and get a lead quickly in this series. And then once they do so, play that shell mentality. I just don't know if that's going to work against the Preds, because the way that they love to play and being an absolute pain to play against, I think that the Canucks could have their hands full in this series. If you want to pick an upset, as far as all upsets, I feel like this could be the one to do so with the Nashville Predators. I really do, because their play styles are kind of yin and yang on both sides, and I just don't know, even for as high-powered as the Vancouver Canucks are, if the Nashville Predators are really a great matchup considering the way that they've been playing over the stretch. I mean, they don't change what they do no matter who they play against. They can find a way to stay in the game and close you down, score goals, or find a way to stop you completely. And that's the way Nashville plays. And good on Andrew Burnette and good on Rick Tocchet for getting these chances back in that coaching role and taking advantage of it. I really don't know which way to lean in this one for the first time. I'm going to go ahead because Alec Nava took the Nashville Predators. He thinks they can make it all the way to the Western Conference Finals. He's a smarter man than me, but that just means to me that I'm going to go ahead and play devil's advocate here. I'm going to go with the Canucks But I think the Nashville Predators will make it interesting. I got another series going 7. I'll go with Vancouver. I'll go with Rick Tocchet, but I'm going to go 7. I do think Juuse Saros probably steals a couple games. I think Thatcher Demko can do the same. I think it's going to be a fascinating matchup in between offense for the Vancouver Canucks. Their strategy is shelling late, and Nashville getting a press. Juuse Saros has had a couple rough games in the postseason, rough series over the last couple of years when they've gotten in. I think it's time that he gets a little closer here, and I think he gets Nashville on the precipice. I'm still taking the Canucks in 7. Alex got it the other way. He's got them going all the way maybe to the WCF. He's a smarter man than I, but because of that, I'll take Devil's Advocate. I'll give me Vancouver Canucks. I think it's a long series, and it'll go 7. This one is the late one. It'll start Game 1 on Sunday, April 21st, 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. So far, before we close out this Capsules here, we got one more left. I got Vancouver over Nashville in 7. I have the Avalanche over the Jets in 7. And I have Dallas in 6 over the Golden Knights. I think I'm getting a couple of these predictions wrong so far, but I am trying to throw out there that these Western Conference ones can be spicy. And we got one more to end on that should be very good as well.